One.
Hello, my name is Nixie Sanderson. I am an English teacher for high school, teaching all 4 grades. I'm also a yearbook advisor, and I have 1 hour of 6th grade social studies every day. As I went through the dispositions for professional educators, some of the ones that I think that I excel at most would probably be having high expectations for my students. I really expect them to put forth their best effort in everything. Of course, I want everything they do to just be exceptional, but really, I want them to work in a way that shows their best self and their best efforts, because that is how we grow just as individuals. And another way, I really think I do well in fairness and in advocacy for my students. That is something I have worked hard at, whether it's in meetings and meeting their art and IEP standards, or coming up with ways in which they can be their best selves in their projects or lessons or whatever it is we're working on at the time or in a particular class. Those are things that I really work hard to achieve with all of my students. As far as dispositions, where I feel like maybe I have room to grow, I feel like we all have room to grow probably in everything. There's no such thing as just being perfect in any particular thing. There's always ways in which we can improve ourselves. But I think for me, one thing in particular I need to spend more time on is probably in reflection. And I know that sounds strange, because this in and of itself is reflection. It is something we do. One of the things I talk about frequently with my coworkers is the fact that every year we learn, we adapt, and we adjust. And we do a lot of that as educators. But I wonder how much time, at least for myself, that I spend talking or thinking about, just objectively, without over criticism. I'm really good at being overly critical of myself, but to just objectively think, how well did this go? What are things I'll do differently? What are ways that I could differentiate this for a different class? So that is a place where I'm just always looking to grow in and of myself. And another way is maybe curiosity. Sometimes I feel like for myself, I get into a point where I'm like, okay, because I have so many classes that, okay, we have these standards, we need to do these, and we're just kind of working through it. And sometimes you get into this routine, and I feel like for myself, maybe I need to step back sometimes and just kind of, it comes down to that reflection. Think about things from another perspective or another way that the students might think from it. As an educator, I think it's really important that we are always advocating for our students. I think the primary behavior that really sets apart great teachers that I've known in my life are the ones who can look at each student as an individual. And the more students we have, the harder that is. But if we can really show that compassion and that interest in one student as an individual person and not just as another one of a number, that really will help a student connect. Even a student who maybe struggles in the subject, if you can help them feel like they are worthy and that they have made achievements, even minor achievements, it really gives them that encouragement that helps them keep going. And so being able to give students that encouragement is something that is so important. And I think that's the base standard that we have to think about as teachers. We have to think about how all of our actions affect each individual student as a whole person, not just did they learn where to properly put a comma in their sentence, but how does it affect them in their life? And how do they feel when they are in your classroom? Do they feel valued? Do they feel like they are seen, like they are understood, like you care about them? And I think that's the thing that we as educators need to bring, no matter what our subject or our specialty is.